And this is the challenge, because we don't train the boy child enough to say it's fine to earn less. It becomes very difficult now, and even a source of violence, because I'll be trying to prove,
It's an ego thing now.
yes, to the woman that because you earn more, you think you are more superior
higher
to
than
I,
me.
and I am the man. And then it becomes
I must reduce you now.
Yeah, I must reduce you.
The motherland, the African man. Long as I'm alive, I'ma make a plan. Strongholds to break, got long walks to take, got no votes to make. We don't bet, we pray. Hey, African man, yeah. The African male iris through the eye of an African male.
Wow, guys.
Yeah.
I think Remy needs to come back for another episode. But you know what? We do have some minutes left, and we've been getting questions from young African males and females as well. And we thank you for all the questions that you do send across to us. And I think also we make sure that the guest that is on the podcast on that particular day, as well as ourselves, we just have a turn to kind of respond to the questions that are coming in. So I think the first one I'll tackle is from Kalela, and the Kalela is actually from Zambia. So yeah, I guess it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So Kalela asked this. It's a two-part question. Can I use dating apps to find a godly partner? Can I pursue a godly relationship with someone of a different doctrine?
Kalela.
I don't know who wants to tackle that one first.
Okay, so I'll allow you to talk about the doctrines one.
Okay.
I will address the dating
Dating.
apps one.
I think,
Because I am
you're in the zone.
an active
expert.
user of dating apps. I think that particularly because of the way that society has changed, and the amount of movement, and the way that cities are structured and that kind of thing, everyone's on the internet now. Yeah. So, for instance, I sell 100% of my sales in my business come from the internet, right?
Yes.
So they come from an app, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So that works because people are on the internet. Dating is the same as far as I'm concerned. Okay. It's about meeting people. So you can meet them physically. You can go to places where you're likely to meet the kind of girl you're looking for, right? And he sounds like a guy who, would go to church. He would like to meet a girl at church and that kind of thing, which is fine, you can do that. But also, you can use dating apps. The beauty with dating apps is that usually you'll get a profile. There's a bio. They talk about themselves. You can see what they look like. There's a number of pictures there, right? Some of them connect to their Instagram. Okay. You can do a little, a bit of a background check here and there. If you can find their name, look them up. Do they have a criminal record?
Ask for fingerprints.
And you can strike a conversation. So I use an app called Bumble.
Okay.
Because it feels less sexual than Tinder. Tinder just has the vibes. Okay.
So he may not find the godly partner.
I don't know. Who is a godly partner?
Exactly. So that's the thing now.
Yeah.
You might assume that meeting a girl at church means she's a
100%.
godly partner. 100%. I mean, of course, statistically speaking, it's more likely to happen there. But the whole thing of meeting a partner cannot be a statistical thing, particularly if you're talking about a life partner. It's about connecting with a person. And like Remy said just now, you don't know anyone, really. You might think you know a girl because she sings in the choir and that kind of thing, and she ticks the godly boxes. But who is she under pressure?
Yeah.
You know, who is she when there's no money in the home?
Yeah.
Who is she when health is threatened?
Or behind closed doors.
Exactly.
Watching,
Right? Who is she when she miscarries? And that kind of thing. And some of these things can't be treated at face value. Like if you're looking for a life partner, I think you should be committed to that process and take it as a full-time job. You know, be as serious about it as you would be with getting a degree. You know, we take 4 years, 5, 6, 7 sometimes, pursuing a qualification because of what we understand is going to be the fruit of that pursuit once we get that thing. And then we want to find a partner in 3 weeks. You know, I attend a few services at church. I see a girl, you know, who looks a certain way, who sings a certain way. I think that one, right? But it should go deeper than that. And I've met some people online who have really surprised me. They did not have Christian on their bio, but they turned out to be the most faith-filled people that I have met, you know? They didn't claim to be anything that I would naturally be drawn to, but I got to meet them, got to know them, and actually realized, oh, wow, what a pleasant woman, you know? So I would say to him, be careful of what it looks like. Get onto the app, experience it, you know, and develop your own perspective of it. There's no do's or don'ts and that kind of thing. Taboos, do away with all of that and explore Bumble, particularly. Bumble works.
Bumble is the one.
They need to pay you for it.
This is not a sponsored ad, by the way.
The question of doctrine, it's a little bit tricky because, I mean, what does that mean? And I know coming from Zambia, it could mean different things. It could mean as, you know, differences in religions. It could also mean differences in sort of Protestant versus
Denomination,
Catholic
yeah.
Denomination.
So it's a little bit tricky to answer. But I think at the core of that should be the values that you share or that are important to you. If God is important to you, you want to be with someone that believes in God and just one God, because you believe in one God. Others believe in multiple gods, and others don't believe in God at all. So for me, that's an important point of departure. You know, what is your understanding of family and so on? And then you look down to what you value and what the other person values. And then the other thing that I recommend to people in the dating pool is to really look at what differentiates you as opposed to what brings you together. So if we had to break up, you know, if I had to break up with this person, why would I be breaking up? So those are the issues that I now want to sit down on and say, can I live with this or can I not? And it helps to make the decision. 100%. I hope that helps, Karela.
Sorry, can I just double click on something here? Sure. Do you think that a Christian and a Muslim can build a successful marriage?
I think so. I think so. I haven't seen it. But as much as possible, I think it's important to stay in the same religion.
Yeah.
It just helps to avoid a lot of problems that you,
especially family-related issues.
Extended
family.
Yeah, because I think Kalela wants to know if she's from like a charismatic church and a Pentecostal type, and they're slain in the spirit and they speak in tongues.
Roman Catholic.
And
I'm Catholic.
Catholic or
Can
Jehovah's
that work?
Witness. I think it can work. Yes.
Okay.
I think that can work. Obviously, there are.
So where do they go?
So
do you go to church on Saturday and then I'll go on Sunday with the kids? Like,
I think there needs to be a compromise. So there's a couple that I know. One was a Jehovah's Witness and the other one was not. And in fact, the parents didn't even come to the wedding because they didn't approve of the marriage. But then what it ended up happening was that the man who wasn't a witness converted to later in the marriage to become a Jehovah's Witness, and so I think one of them made a compromise and it's important, I think, to sort of discuss that from the onset, because you're gonna have children where the children are going to go and so on. Yeah.
Which doctrine are you going to inherit?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man. It can become complicated. If not, okay. I think I'll. There's Caleb. Caleb says, interesting. Can a successful woman submit to a man who earns less than her?
We have a shortage of women on this panel.
So I guess as what we explained before, now it depends with you as a man. Maybe I think we can speak from a male perspective, right?
Yeah.
To say, are you okay with being the lower earning person, and what that means in a marriage, right?
And if we divorce this, like you were saying, from work, because I think a lot of things that happen in marriages and relationships is really centered around work and finances, and that's challenging. If you are going biblically, a successful woman who's earning a lot can submit to a man who's earning less, if you're going biblically. But the question is, what does that submission look like? Right? Does it mean my word goes? As a man, I'm the man of the house? Surely that can't be it, because a partnership, marriage or a relationship is a partnership. That there are going to be decisions you make, they're going to have losses and so on, and gains. Yeah. When you understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, that helps a lot.
Yes.
That's true. That's very true.
My wife is very good with finances. I am the worst. I am the worst. Like, I can blow up money. Like, I am the worst. And I know that. That's my weakness. Exactly. Right? So if we are going to make a financial decision,
right.
Yeah, whose word is gonna help to shape the conversation?
Right.
The person that I know, knows finances.
You defer to her.
Yeah, defer to her. And so it's not that, and this is the challenge, because we don't train the boy child enough to say it's fine to earn less. It becomes very difficult now, and even a source of violence, because I'll be trying to prove.
It's an ego thing now.
Yeah, yes, to the woman that because you earn more, you think you are more superior to I, and I am the man. And then it becomes
I must reduce you now.
Yeah, I must reduce you.
So I like what you've just said. We don't train the boy child enough. And I think we talked about this a while ago when we were talking about the African culture of preparation for marriage. That there is no model for preparation for marriage in Africa.
Yeah.
We are sort of prepared to be providers if you're a male. Yeah. And you're prepared to be a homemaker if you're a woman.
Yeah.
But that, modern life has outpaced that model.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for the elders, any leaders in the African context, to take it upon themselves to say, okay, how do we prepare young men to be leaders of homes?
Yeah.
What does fatherhood look like? What does dealing with the loss of children look like?
Yeah.
What does providing look like? When you lose your job, who do you become?
Yeah.
When your wife starts to earn more than you, who do you become? And that kind of thing. Yeah. And none of these scenarios are ever even imagined when people go into marriage. Yeah. Like, they think that the situation that they're in at the point of getting together is going to persist the whole way.
Yeah.
And no one prepares them for change. But I mean, in any setup, change management is often the difference between life and death, right? So what you want is to start to prepare young ladies for scenarios where they are the primary earner. So that they don't become this nasty person because, you know, all of a sudden there's a sense of power. Because the problem with money and finances is they are attached to power. So when there's a power struggle in the home, that home cannot stand. And we need to teach people and prepare them for managing power or the loss of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the challenge, and I saw this when we're getting ready to get married, is that I'm a feminist of sort. I believe in gender equality and all that. But at the same time, I'm a Christian.
Right.
Yeah, at that time, at least.
We cannot also tell.
I was a Christian, and then I was also a traditional African man. So these are three, if I can say, schools of thought that sometimes conflict with each other. And, you know, how do you bring together? And I think in Africa, unfortunately, we've held on to so much about the culture and tradition and religion that we don't fully understand, and that we've completely ignored and forgotten about our own. In fact, in my development work, the only time you hear people talk about traditional African cultures is in the negative connotation. You know, so harmful traditional norms, negative cultural norms, and so on. So, but what are those African, or, you know, Zulu, or Ngoni, or, you know, at that level, are there any cultural lessons that we can borrow from to understand how to live together in unity in a household? And unfortunately, we don't have that.
I think it's something that now, in modern day, when you're looking at the youth now, they've begun to listen or seek advice less and less from elders who do have that knowledge, you know, of background, and they've kind of now prioritized the Western world and how they do things, and unfortunately, that also kills.
I mean, TikTok raises more children than actual parents.
It's crazy.
I mean, if you think about it, who taught you how to manage money?
No, I learned that online.
Not my parents, for sure.
You see, exactly, it's online. So, do you really blame your kids for learning online as well?
Just adopting the same.
Unless you decide to bridge that gap intentionally, it's going to continue unchecked. And by 2060, there'll be no African heritage to talk about.
No, there'll be nothing. And you see, there's so the fact that a child or a youth is exposed to, say, education and the global village is actually an advantage to understand and appreciate the traditional and African cultural heritage to a great extent. So there's some lessons that I was taught as a young person in a rural Zambian setting that now, with what I know about science and what I know about, you know, the globalization, the reason might be different from what they taught me. So if you eat while lying down, you're going to see a ghost. So this is right. But now you know that it's dangerous to chew while you're lying down.
Right.
So the reason might be different, but the lesson remains the same.
Yes.
You know, if you walk backwards, you're going to hit into, you know how dangerous it is to, to run backwards and so on. So there's some lessons, I think, that, and I wish that we had enough schools of thought that
that bring the two together.
And I'm saying this now, looking to my colleagues at UNESCO in culture, to really, bring this together.
A fusion of everything would be perfect, and it would be lovely if it was actually a subject being taught in our African schools.
I think the problem with that particular thing that you're talking about now, again, is a custodian's issue. Like, I have a very big problem with the higher ups and the powers that be. because there doesn't seem to be purity of intention in the way that policy is framed, particularly around Africa.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interference, but also there's a lot of weakness in our own local leadership on the African continent. So we sort of take the cue from other people who have their own interests.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, the socio-economic structure of Africa is not an African model.
No.
You know, it's not homegrown. It is defined by people elsewhere who have their own agendas for managing Africa the way that they do, you know. And unfortunately, we are still in chains.
Yeah.
You know, no one's got physical chains on them. But if you really think about it, Africa is not free.
Yeah, no.
Our education system.
That's actually a topic on
It's,
that.
and it's a pity we didn't have time to go into that. But I mean, I absolutely agree. I think that if we are going to, if Africa is going to enjoy itself and liberate itself, the education system, the agenda setting has to be African, African grown, and you know it's not by mistake that we're where we are.
No,
you know,
it's by design.
It's by design, exactly. And unless leaders and young people in Africa also now had to consciously design themselves out of that situation, will continue to persist in here.
True.
So we talk about introducing this in education, but then we know that historically our tradition has been passed on orally. Right? So oral tradition was a big part, but then, like the saying goes, unless the lion learns to write, the story will always
told from the hunter's perspective.
Exactly, right? So there's so much that we need to do ourselves to push back and say, wait. Before this agenda comes, what is the intention of this agenda? And is it helpful for myself? I can honestly tell you that Africa doesn't need any help from outside the continent.
Absolutely not.
To be able to develop.
The resources we have. And
Exactly. But do we have any leaders right now? Can you point to me to leaders in government in any of the African continents who are pro-African, and pan-African, and advancing that agenda? Unfortunately, I don't think we do.
Yeah. Wow. we need to have this man back.
Yep.
But thank you so much. I think I just want to thank you, Remy, or Dr. Shaba.
Remy is fine.
Remy's fine. For taking the time to be with us today. I think the benefit of a podcast also is that I'm also learning.
Yes.
Me too. Yeah.
Whoever comes through, we actually share ideas, share thoughts, and we learn from each other. And we hope that's also coming up to the audience as well, to be just learning certain perspectives and how to view things.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any final words, Remy, for the viewers.
I just thank you for this opportunity. I mean, now I'm sitting here and I think, when was the last time I had such a in-depth conversation with fellow Africans? It's always work, and family. No time for introspection and to really think about. So I really appreciated this opportunity, and to the viewers and the listeners, if you are African, I think we can do more for Africa ourselves.
100%.
Absolutely.
And Oscar?
No, I'm a fan of conversation. You know that. And this was very fulfilling for me. And thank you so much, Remy, for coming through. I've met 3 people this year who, upon meeting, I decided I want this person in my life for the rest of it. I turned 40 in 2 weeks. Wow. Actually, it's a week now.
You wouldn't tell, actually.
It looks good, eh?
Yeah. Well done. Whatever you do, keep doing it.
Got my skincare
Maybe
routine.
don't get married.
Oh, wow. Did you hear what this guy said?
Maybe what?
He says, maybe don't get married.
Everything seems to be going well.
If it's not broken, don't fix it. Man, I'm starting to age from all the loneliness, man.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of these talking stages, bro.
Yeah.
It's I'm sure no, that's tiring. It's tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, my African male iris is dimming. I'm looking at Bumble. Yeah, no, but it was lovely. It was lovely.
No, thank you everyone, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the African Male Iris. Cheers.
The motherland, the African man. Long as I'm alive, I'ma make a plan. Strongholds to break, got long walks to take, got no votes to make. We don't bet, we pray. Hey, African man, yeah.